good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Six Rings Kane Show on a new night, Monday night now, baby. We're really excited, actually, to have Eric McLean on the show here, college football analyst, co-host of The Huddle. Coach, yes! All right!
First touchdown of the year.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy. Ha ha. It's a six-ring Kane show. Can't forget the name though. Got Jazz, Blue, Vish, and DJ break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. Real Portland live from the Hard Rock Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. We see the six-ring champs. It's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards of Hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the Six Rings Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Buckets here on the Six Rings Canes pod. I'm Melissa. He's Vish. What's up, Vish? How's it going?
What's up? What's up? You nailed the intro. Look at this.
I try. Yo, that intro gets me hyped, but we need to get our own.
It's in
which
progress.
is in progress, everybody.
It's in progress.
Don't worry.
Yeah, stuff is happening.
So I showed up to work today thinking I was supposed to work, and I wasn't on the schedule. So here we are doing.
I also could have noticed because you sent me your schedule and
it was a switch, and I forget because our schedule is usually pretty set. So I walked into work and people were like, "Why are you here?" And I realized I wasn't supposed to work today. So then I texted Vish like, "Hey, I'm actually supposed to work tomorrow. Let's do the pod today." So here we are.
Yes. I didn't have anything else to do, just was going to be waiting around for the next show. So.
And I'm kind of double repping currently. I've got a Buckets t-shirt on repping the show, but it also is a shout out to the Heat, beat the Bucks in 5 games and then took game 1 of the Eastern Conference semis. So what up? Shout out to the Miami Heat. And to the Florida Panthers for kicking some Boston butt last night.
Yeah, anytime Boston loses and they're upset, it's a good day. So
yeah, good stuff. Now we just need the Sixers to beat Boston tonight. So we'll see what happens. The only time I'll ever root for Philly.
Yeah, that's the thing with that one.
Another unofficial sponsor.
You're giving away all the free advertising, and
I'm saying, this is a Dime Life t-shirt. So
again,
they didn't make it in a hoodie.
Again. just give it away all. How are we supposed to bring in advertisers if you just plug everything for free?
Well, hopefully by plugging them for free, they'll want to sponsor us. I don't know.
I don't think that's how it works.
Anyway, I don't think Chick-fil-A.
I don't think Chick-fil-A's got a line item budget for random Miami-based food spot.
I only ordered Chick-fil-A out of spite because you was it Maddie?
Is that actually what happened?
Totally dissing it.
That's actually what happened. You weren't going to eat it anyway. I assumed you were already.
My plan was to get it tomorrow when I was off, and then I didn't realize I was going to get it for lunch tomorrow, and then I realized that I work tomorrow, and I had already eaten lunch because I thought I was going to work, but then I got home and I was like, you know what, I'm going to get it for dinner just to send pictures to you guys in the chat because Matt was hating on Chick-fil-A hardcore.
I was kind of not as bad, but
no,
I gave an honest opinion.
I couldn't tell if Jazz was a fan of it or not.
Oh no, I think he was. I think he lined up with you on that one.
Jazz is on my side.
Yeah.
So he's a smart one. Maybe he'll invade the pod later. We'll see. Although you guys have a pod after this and then another one after that.
Yeah.
It's a very, very big lineup of Six Ring Canes pods going on today.
All the sports, basketball,
Buckets starting it off first. Yeah. I think we should start off with the guy we were drooling over in the chat earlier.
Yeah. Let's do that. You found him.
So yeah, I follow. There's this one Portal Updates Twitter account that I follow, and they tweeted out that this guy named Connor Vanover.
Yeah, it's Vanover.
Entered the transfer portal. He's a senior. On ESPN, he's labeled as a center, but if you watch his tape,
no, he's not. That's the thing. He's not labeled as a center. That's how I know.
Well, on the site that I looked at, he's labeled as a center, but he's actually your stretch 4. But He's 7'5".
I mean, he is a funky looking dude, but he moves pretty well for 7'5". He gets around.
He's
the
a
floor
large man. He's 7'5", 227 pounds out of Oral Roberts.
Just to be clear, if you're 7'5",
we don't know if he has any interest.
All the usual disclaimers. We're just making crap up. But if you're 7'5", 220 something, you are a coat hanger. Like this man has but he has no weight on his body at all to be that tall and be in the 220s.
Yeah, he was first team All Summit. Averaged 12.7 points per game, 7 boards, 3 blocks. But he shot 52% from the field and 32% from 3 as a 7'5" center.
He's not a center. ESPN
but he's not.
Power forward. Well,
I mean, I don't know how athletic he is because I watched like 30 seconds of tape because I think I messaged this to you like 45 minutes ago.
I sent you the YouTube highlight of him doing the pick and roll, man. He's got some.
No, but I didn't have time. I didn't have time to look at a lot of stuff. I had to like take a shower, eat dinner, like
Yeah.
The hair was looking whack on the last couple of shows. I had to make it look nice for a show for a change.
You preparing and everything.
Yeah. Well, after I got ready to go to work, I was like, dang it. I wasted like 2 hours of my afternoon getting ready for work and driving over there.
Well, we'll teach.
But he would be an interesting guy to have on our team.
Yeah, so just more doing like a basket. So the reason like he is actually a power, like they Oral Roberts listed him as a power forward. And that's what he is on like ESPN. So for obviously he's 7'5", like that's a center. And then he actually plays power forward. He plays away from the basket. He shoots threes, like you said. He
shoots 81% from the line.
Yeah, no, he can shoot the ball.
Free throw shooter.
Yeah,
he can shoot. Yeah,
he does a lot of pick and roll, a lot of mobility there. Shoots a lot of threes.
He's a senior, so I think he's got like a year of eligibility.
Yeah, well, this is the other thing. He's got a little Charlie Moore thing happening here because he was at Cal, then he was at Arkansas, and then he was at Oral Roberts. This will be school number 4. Now,
should we address Jeff's comment before we continue?
Sure.
I'm sure it'll be talked about on the football. We were just talking about it too. This will probably be talked about more on the football pod in a little bit. But yeah, Jaden Davis, the transfer corner, is coming back home. He's from Fort Lauderdale, coming back to play for the U. So
he's from St. Thomas.
Another corner to add to that room, which is good.
But we'll have more on that.
I want to talk about a player that I've had my eye on.
I'm not done with the big boy yet. So.
I'm excited about this next guy though, and I like his name.
We got time. We got time.
Okay, go.
We got time.
We only have an hour tonight, so.
We have an hour and a half actually. So.
Yeah.
Next show's not till 8:30. Yeah. So I think one of the interesting things here is. I want to ask you this question. So you wanted a stretch 4. This is the definition of a stretch because the dude's 7'5". But look,
he's a stretch 4 in that he can shoot.
Well,
I don't know how athletic you can be at 7'5".
Right. This is the question I wanted to ask you. So he shoots the 3, so he will in that sense stretch. You have to cover him out there. He can spot up and shoot. He also he'll achieve the let's not crowd Norchad out under the basket. He can also definitely guard 7-footers. I'm hoping, like at least stand in front of them.
And he can board. He averages 7 boards a game. Yeah, and 3.2 blocks.
He's a good shot blocker. So is this not like a good? Is this not kind of the? I understand 7'5" is extreme.
Yeah, I mean this is
kind of fitting a little bit about what you were looking for here.
I mean, sort of. Yeah, my concern is. When you're that tall and that lanky, to me, I just think of Greg Oden. Like, has he been healthy? Like I said, I didn't have time to research this guy a lot because we literally were just talking about him like 30 minutes before the pod.
No, he's been healthy. He played every game, like 34 games.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely be interesting. I mean, I don't know that he's looking at Miami or Miami's looking at him, but definitely be a piece that we've never really had.
I mean, I think he's just a taller Wardenberg, isn't he?
A much taller Wardenberg. I thought Wardenberg's was a bit more athletic.
Yeah,
but like I said, how athletic can you be at 7'5"?
This guy can move okay. He's not as.
He's like the white Yao Ming.
He's not as stiff as you think. He can move.
Yeah, I know. I have to watch more tape. hey, listen, if Coach L thinks he's a good fit,
I now have to do the same disclaimer you did. Like, there's no indication at all that this guy's ever even heard of Miami. Yeah. So
also, what's up, Brian? Brian in the chat. Make sure we acknowledge the people that are tuning into us.
Yes.
What up, Brian?
Look at you taking the show over. I can just sit here eventually.
Just making sure, man. I mean, I know we get a lot of our clicks on re-listens, but if people are tuning in live, although we are starting later today, so that might have something to do with it. The last few pods we started.
Although we started later at a random time where we just created the stream like an hour ago. So
well, I mean, we did talk about doing the show last week on Tuesday, and then I misread my schedule, and so did you apparently. Oh, there you go, Brian. What up?
Yeah, no, you sent me the calendar too, and I did not notice until you pointed it out, and I'm like, oh,
yeah, I didn't notice until one of my coworkers was like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Oh, crap."
So how far? Okay, tangent number one.
I don't live that far away from work.
Well,
so it's not a big
you don't need to go into that stuff. That's your personal. How long were you? Did you just like show up there immediately? Like, what are you doing here? And like, how far into working did you get?
No, before? Like I literally got there. I pulled up at like 2. Like I haven't even started my shift yet. It was like 2:50 because I got there like at 2:45. I always stop at the caf to grab a few bottles of water for the shift. And as I'm getting into the elevator, one of the doctors is leaving, and she's like, "What are you doing here? I didn't see your name on the schedule." And I was walking with another one of the NPs from a different department. I got in the elevator. I'm like, "Let me check my schedule." Then in the elevator, I was like, "Oh," and then I said a cuss word. And I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. So I got out of the elevator on the second floor and took the stairs back down. And as I was walking out, I saw one of my coworkers. And I was like, yeah, I'm not supposed to be here today.
All right. So at least you didn't start working.
It's not a huge deal because I don't live that far. But I also I got up, did my usual routine, ate lunch, got ready, left for work. And that could have been like 2 hours. I was like at home chilling, like on the couch eating Chick-fil-A. So, but it's fine. The cool thing is now we can do the pod now, and who knows, maybe I'll jump onto the football.
Yeah,
and the baseball
now you can jump
later.
onto the football and the baseball if you're on for joining me on this marathon session of Kane's shows. Right. You're more than welcome to.
What up, Anthony? I think he's our like Buckets OG because
I think so.
He's been here from the first time we did a Buckets pod.
Seen you
without a hat. Does he mean a hoodie? I think he means a hoodie.
I think you mean a hoodie because Melissa basically. I don't think I've ever seen you in a hat. Actually,
it's the first time I've been on this show without something long sleeves. But it's because it says Buckets on it.
Yeah,
that's why I'm wearing a T-shirt.
For those that aren't aware, that is the name of our show.
The name of our show is Buckets,
as named by Katie Meyer.
The other day I ordered a shirt on Amazon that says Buckets across it. And I did Prime and everything, and it was supposed to get here today. And it did, except the leasing office closed before I got the alert that it got delivered, so I can't get it until tomorrow.
Man, you are really investing in the show.
Well, I'm like, it was like $10. It wasn't a big deal. I'm like, let me get a shirt with Buckets on it. It'd be cool. But then I realized I had this shirt and like the Heat won last night. So I was like, let me wear a Buckets shirt. So it says Buckets on it. Biscayne Buckets. There you go. But yeah, I think Anthony meant hoodie. It might be the first time I've worn my hair down on the show too, but that's what happens, Vish. I dressed up for you today. I blow dry my hair, wore it down.
I mean, that's like I said, you're committing. I swivel my chair 45 degrees from my work computer to here, and
I had more time today because usually we plan a pod, and I know I'm off that day, so I'm running errands and stuff. But I didn't make any plans for today because I thought I was working. So I got home from work and I ate some Chick-fil-A. I actually took a nap. I was just chilling because I didn't have anything to do.
I would kill someone to take a nap. Anyway,
you don't work 12-hour shifts, so on my days off,
No, I don't. Instead, I just work all the freaking time. It's just not shift.
What is it? Jazz the other week was like, I forgot Melissa has a real job.
That was me.
Was that you? I thought that was Jazz.
No, that was me.
Oh.
Jazz didn't know what you did until then. Right. Anyway, we actually have a real question here.
This last year, we got Pack and Omier from the portal with nice NIL deals. Missouri's also offered a nice package to keep along with the Canes this year. Some of us are wondering what is going on. Y'all are freaking out too much.
Okay, I don't think that's an answer to this question. He asked what is going on. He didn't say, should we freak out?
Don't worry about it. The portal is open. There's a lot more guys entering, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes because there's another guy that I have my eye on. Tell me, did you ever hear of Norchad Omier before he committed to us? Did you know his name before he committed to us?
No.
Vish?
No.
Exactly. So don't worry that some of these bigger names have had us on their list and then not committed to us. Al knows what he's doing. Matthew Cleveland from LSU posted on his Instagram stories a few days ago from FSU that his visits from Auburn and from Miami. He didn't post one from Mizzou. I don't know if he took a visit there or not. But we're in the running for him, I think. Vish said he was 80% confident last week that he was coming to us. I think Jazz. Wait, who did we ask Jazz? No, who did we ask?
It was just us.
You asked Matt. Sorry, on a different podcast.
Oh yeah, I did. I asked Matt.
You did ask Matt. I did watch that show. I had it on when I was at work. So we'll see. There's more and more talent entering the portal, like as we speak every day. So just because we haven't landed anybody else, and it's May 1st, which reminds me I should really pay my rent. I wouldn't worry about it. This leads me into the next guy that I would really love us to hopefully take a look at. His name is Jordan Dingle, which is such a great last name. Have you heard of this guy?
I have not.
Jordan Dingle is a junior out of the University of Pennsylvania. He was the Division I number 2 scorer in the country this past season, averaging 23.4 points per game, 46.4% from the field, 35.6% from the three-point line. He is a guard out of Valley Stream, New York, which is my mom's hometown. But dude is a baller, can create his own shot, is a great shooter, 6'3", and I think he would be great next to Nigel. And his last name is Dingle. Like, I love that. I would totally buy that jersey.
I see. I feel like you're still in my name bit here. I mean, I've been talking about names.
Jeff is with me, and he gut feeling says Cleveland isn't coming here. And
I saw that. I was trying to stay on one topic and then transition back to that.
I know. We'll get back to that in a minute. But if you're watching this, go look, or listening to this later, go look at Jordan Dingle's tape. I think he would be a great addition to our team.
Yeah, and
I will say, if you look at his stats from last year and then from 2019, because the Ivy League didn't play in 2020.
Right, that's correct. Yeah.
He's gotten better every single year.
And he's also a taller guard, so he would, like you said, fit nice and extra
He's
long.
6'3", almost 200 pounds. Yeah. But like I said, the number 2 scorer in Division I last year. I think he would be a great complement to Nigel. They can both shoot, so they can stretch the floor really well, and you can keep Wilga there at the 3.
Yeah, no.
And then if me and Jeff are wrong and you're right, and we get Matthew Cleveland, we could do small ball and play him at the 4. Or if we get Connor Vanover.
I mean, I need my 7'5" stretch 4. What are we talking about here? That dude is a stretch 4.
Yeah.
Like the definition of it. I don't know. I feel like Cleveland wouldn't have gone this far in the process with us if like he was concerned about going to a rival of FSU. I don't think he cares.
In my opinion, the fact that he posted stuff about us and about Auburn makes me think it's coming down to those 2 schools.
Or he's going to Missouri. He's just trolling.
Or he's just trolling both fan bases and going to Mizzou. Cleveland has been such a U hater the last 2 years.
Yeah, he played for FSU. Why would
he played for FSU. You're supposed to.
Yeah.
But dude's a baller, and he showed out at Watsco. But I will say Jordan Dingle would be a nice pickup. I know we're kind of going back and forth between Dingle and Cleveland.
That's fine.
But Vish, I should have given you that name so you could have looked him up before the show. I posted it in the chat, but like
there's too much stuff going on.
Yeah.
There. There's too much Chick-fil-A talk.
But yeah. Jeff is not confident. Matthew is trolling. I
mean, he could be, right? That's definitely a possibility that he. I don't think. I mean, that's a long way to carry a bit on to troll. He came to campus. He visited. Like, I think it's a long way to troll.
And he was wearing the throwback orange jerseys in his visit pictures, which are like the best jerseys we've ever had.
I mean, if the thinking is that he's going through all of that to mess with us, but he's going to Auburn.
I don't think so.
Way too elaborate to do that.
But it's not only that, but if you ask FSU fans, they'll tell you like how like great of a person and human Matthew Cleveland. Even like the FSU fan that was trolling me on Twitter saying that he's not that good and they're glad he's leaving, even said that he's a really great person, but not a good basketball player. Whatever, he was your best scorer last year, so I don't know what you're trolling.
I mean, what do they know about good basketball though? So.
Listen, if he goes to Auburn or Mizzou, he does, but He would.
Right,
Matthew
but
Cleveland would be great for us.
I think if he
would
goes,
love to have him.
yeah, I think if he goes there, it's not because I don't think he's.
Because Matthew was trolling off the board thing.
Yeah, I was about to.
Put that off there. There you go.
Jeez. You take over my hosting duties. You're driving the agenda. Now you're telling me how to produce the thing.
Right before the show started, I asked Vish if I could do the intro.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you did it.
I totally just like last second, I was like, yo, let me do the intro. And while the credits were going, I was like, all right, what am I gonna say? So we just
you stuck the landing.
I didn't even stutter.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I'm like, let's go.
It was good.
And hopefully next show, guys, we'll actually have our own like hoops intro. It's in the works as we speak. Me and Vish have been discussing this for days.
Yes.
So hopefully there will be mentions of hoodies and hoops and buckets. And of course there will be a clip of Katie Meyer in it because she was our first guest.
I think it's gonna be more than one clip. we interviewed Katie Meyer.
Huh? Oh yeah.
I said,
well, no, there has to be,
there's gonna be
the
like
part where
multiple...
she names it buckets. The part where she names it buckets, and the part where she says we're awesome. Those are
definitely going. But I mean, if we interview Katie Meyer, I mean, how's that not going to be like the whole intro?
Right, and then hopefully we get even more people. I mean, I don't think anything's gonna top Katie Meyer, but maybe some
it's okay. We could start high and
maybe some previous players. You know, if anyone's watching, Jack Wilkin, I'd love to get him on the show. I thought about tweeting at him, be like, "Yo, Jack, you wanna come on the show?"
Yeah, but I mean,
I met him once. Maybe he'll remember me.
Yeah, maybe I can get James Dews on if he remembers me from the Durham airport. I told that story already on here. Hopefully you remember.
Maybe Jimmy Graham remembers me from our hurricane ride to class.
Jimmy Graham is no, I remember the story. He's too big time though.
Right? We'll see. But it doesn't matter. We got Katie Meyer.
Yeah, we got Katie Meyer, so we're all good.
There we go. So we talked. It was very cool that she came on, Brian. And if you guys haven't watched it yet, go catch the pod from last week. I know it's 2 hours long, but the first half an hour is only with Katie Meyer. The rest of it is just me and Vish going on a gigantic ramble of hoops and other miscellaneous things.
Other stuff, yeah.
We mentioned the Heat at some point, the Cowboy. I don't know. It turned into a miscellaneous sports show. And
was it all even sport? I don't even know. You'll have a good time.
The box of crap got mentioned again.
The box of crap is its own episode. I mean, I don't know.
The box of crap. I see every time I walk into my room now. I see.
You're not allowed to open it. You're on the honor system there.
I'm not. But I have stuff piled on top of it, so I actually need to like move all of that stuff off of it so I can.
You're just not allowed to open it to see what's in there until we.
No, I'm not. All right. Well, who are we talking about next? We talked about Dingle. We talked about Cleveland.
So you wanted to talk about Aziz? Okay.
Aziz Bandiogo, maybe.
Let's go with that.
Again, this is just like random players that I find when I see updates on Twitter about people entering the transfer portal. He played at Utah Valley, which I didn't know was a place, and was the WAC Defensive Player of the Year. He's 7 feet tall, which he's the exact opposite of what I want the Canes to get.
And yet, here we are.
Because he's like your traditional center. But he's a sophomore and averaged 11.5 points per game and shot 60% from the field. And averaged a double-double. But I saw his name pop up. I thought it was a cool name, and he's 7 foot tall. So I was like, let me mention him.
You've totally co-opted my name bit, and I don't know how I feel about that.
But he would go well with a kind of international feel because he's originally from Senegal.
Yeah, so here's my question to you on this, right? So how's he possibly going to play next to Norchad? He is another play on the block
that's why I said I'm like he goes against everything I want us to get. But it just stood out because one, he has the international vibe from Senegal and he's like over 7 feet tall, and I was just like, oh, this guy looks cool and he has a cool name, so I was like, let me bring him up. But no, he. So do you actually
is this someone you actually want though, like, or is this just like these
as a depth piece? I take him as a depth piece.
I mean, I don't think he's. I guess you know what? That's a good point though. As this many players entered the portal, like it's a ridiculous number.
There's over 1,300 players.
Yeah.
They're not all going to teams to start.
Right. So some of them are going to be backups. You know, if you're coming from Utah Valley, being a backup at Miami is not a.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
Brian wants to know if Norchad is staying.
Yes.
I am 99.9% sure Norchad is staying. He just put his name into the draft and retained his college eligibility. just to get an evaluation. Wong did that 2 years in a row. Nigel Pack's doing it too. They'll both be at Miami next year. And if he ends up going to the NBA, then Vish can clip this and make fun of me incessantly all next season.
I'll have to recut the intro again. Just every show.
You call me the basketball expert, and then if I'm wrong about that, then
I mean, that's not really basketball though. That's just guessing, right? I mean, it's educated guessing, but like you never know.
You're the second person to refer to me as like the hoops expert, so I need to keep.
I mean, you are our hoops expert on this show.
Because one of the football experts called me a hoops expert.
You are
the leader of Miami Flow. So
I mean, that's a promotion I didn't know you got, but
yeah.
No, but you're.
But he's mentioned our pod a couple of times on his stuff.
No, we have a good relationship with the Flow people. So, but yeah, no, you are our hoops expert. That's why you're on the hoops show.
On Twitter, sending me a bunch of random tweets. So I was trying to see if there was anything about the show, but it's about football. So I'll
this
answer
is
that
Jaden
later.
Davis. So
no, I retweeted that he signed to us. So now people are commenting on it. Fingers crossed. Yes, Brian. But I'm pretty confident.
I think our expectation is definitely that Norchad and Nigel.
Speaking of our current team, I sent you the way too early preseason rankings for next season.
You know what? Let's
and ESPN had us at like 18 or 19, and they had FAU at like 8 or 9. And people don't get mad that they're first of all, be happy they have us ranked, that they're actually showing us some love for a change. But don't expect us to be ranked really high to start the season, because we lost our best player, and then arguably possibly like our second best player this past season. So don't hate on the rankings. Yeah, Duke's number 1, but that's because they're keeping Filipowski and Tyrese Proctor, so we all knew that was happening.
Yeah.
Keep going. UConn's at 4. I think FAU is at like 8 or 9. Well, they're returning their entire starting lineup.
I feel like there's going to be a come down anyway.
That's right, Jeff. Don't pick us. Exactly.
Well, don't worry.
I'll just mention the awesomeness that is South Florida teams knocking off 1 seeds this season. It's been amazing. So, yeah. So, they basically mentioned how Pack, Wooga, Norchad is kind of our starting core coming back, with Bensley Joseph coming off the bench and having a bigger role. Again, I don't see Bensley Joseph starting. I still see him as a 6th man. They're plugging in AJ Casey as our 5th starter, but I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't think Bensley Joseph is going to be a starter either.
I think Bensley Joseph
with a grain of salt.
I think Bensley Joseph starting is a much higher chance than AJ Casey starting, because I think if we don't get
AJ Casey is definitely not starting. We're gonna get people out of the portal, and again, I still don't think Bensley is starting next year.
I don't think so either, but I would say there's a better chance than AJ Casey, just because Bensley Joseph is ready to start. It's just Nigel plays the same position as him, and you don't really want to play them together to start the game.
Yeah.
So that's why he's not starting. AJ Casey, unless he does some kind of ridiculous improvement, is not ready to start next year.
Bensley Joseph will play starters minutes, but I see him as our Tyler Hero coming off the bench again and doing a lot of great things for us. I can't see us playing that small.
Yeah, I agree.
You need a taller guard, or you slide Wooga to the 2 and you get like a Matthew Cleveland type player to play the 3.
It's also worth noting, to your point, Melissa, that this is assuming no one else comes in, and they still have us at 18. That's not bad.
Yeah, but I think there's some assumption. We're gonna get some guys.
No, we are, and then we'd go up. Is what I'm saying.
The impact of the guys we get, it just depends on what happens, but. We have 5 scholarships available, so we're not going to go into next season without more people. And you also got to think that Robinson and Watson are also going to kind of fill those Walker and Beverly minutes.
Yeah, no, and there's some depth here that's not kind of shown up. But I think the fact that we're 18 without what we think are going to be impact players coming in.
And I think you see a bit of Nwoko next year too.
Yeah, that's true. Especially if, again, I think a lot of it depends on where the incoming players land. But this puts us in actually pretty good shape, given that this is with no additions.
Yeah, but that projecting starting lineup is not is not
close. I mean, that's what it would be right now if we tried to take the core.
That's what it would be right now if we didn't get anybody, but it's 3/5 correct. Wooga, Nigel, and Norchad will be starting. Yes, right. Jeff. Nwoko won't be a starter, but I think for a freshman, I think he gets significant minutes. And I think that role will expand through the season. And don't be surprised if Keyshawn George gets some play time too, because remember, he's coming in as a freshman, but he's been playing in one of the pro leagues in Europe, and he's going to be 20 mid-season. He turns 20 in December. So he's a bit older and has matured a little bit more. So I think you see him getting some time, and I could see him starting over Casey if we didn't get anybody in.
I think it'd be hard to play him next to Norchad like that at the 4, but I mean, I think those are all moot points. They're gonna get.
I think he'd stretch the floor a bit though.
He would definitely stretch.
He has a decent shot, yeah.
He would definitely stretch the floor. No, he's a decent 3-point shooter. It's more just he's small. Like I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I want him and Nwoko to get decent minutes next year, but I'm hoping we bring in more pieces where they don't have to start, because I would like Keyshawn to kind of get the feel for college ball for a season before we just plug him in. But I think he could definitely, he has played with some grown men, Jeff. You're correct. But maybe he doesn't start to begin the season, and then could end up kind of breaking that starting lineup at some point, depending on who we get, just as he develops. We appreciate you.
Yep.
Thank you for appreciating our content.
You're way more professional than I am.
You're burnt out. You've been doing podcasting for too long. This is only like my 4th week into it.
I mean, 2 weeks with you is like more exhausting than the other 3 years.
I put the other side of the blanket on today. Do you notice the difference?
I mean, now that you said, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not really like micro-scanning your background. Sorry. So
I was looking at some other players in the portal.
Go for it.
I will say that guy out of Vandy, Tyron Lawrence, has not committed yet. I would like him to, and he has 3 years of eligibility left.
I mean, he's a stud. Like that would be a home run type
he's a stud. We've talked about him. He would be the shooting guard next to Nigel.
Yeah, and we were looking. We haven't seen any kind of like a list come out of there.
No,
either.
Nothing. No rumors about him. Nothing. The only thing we know for sure is that we're in Matthew Cleveland's top 3, and that's pretty much all we know.
Yeah, but like you said, there's 1,300 players in the portal, and you know what? The ones that we end up taking might not even be in there yet, because a lot of the stuff is like they go into the portal to go to a school. Like there's usually they either commit immediately or they're in there for a long time, because some of them are like, smash the like button. There you go.
Point in the right direction.
It's the mirror effect. That's why it always messes me up. Like I adjust my hat, it goes the wrong way. Because you guys in the chat don't realize like everything is backwards. That's why all my they reflect correctly this way because it's not an actual mirror. So it's like the opposite of a mirror.
Yeah, I just have to remember like which t-shirt is on which side.
Yeah, no, it's the wrong way. Like if you move to your right, it goes to your left and vice versa on the screen. So it's all screwed up. But anyway, yes.
Yeah, it gets very confusing.
That's why you pointed the wrong way. But you got it done eventually. Smash the like button though. Wait, no, hold on.
No, that way.
No, that way. God. Anyway, what the hell are we doing? Most of the people listen to the audio version too.
So everyone's like, what the hell's going on? We're pointing at random things. So those were the names I had written down. Dingle Van Diego, something, and Connor Vanover. Those were the 3 names I had.
So I guess.
Is there anybody else? And then we had talked about Tyron Lawrence last week.
Yeah, I mean, he's still like probably the best player for us in the portal, in that even including Cleveland. But I mean, there's no tie to Miami.
He would He would be a great, like, I mean, obviously Wong is irreplaceable as far as like what he did for our team. But if you want that same ability, the same athleticism, same shot creator, maker, Lawrence is good. If you haven't looked him up yet, he played at Vanderbilt last year. Look him up. And he has 3 years of eligibility. So
yeah, I'm less worried about the years left because I feel like gone. So
well, no, I love bringing in guys that have more than a year of eligibility left, because look at the leap Jordan Miller took from the previous season to this last season under L's tutelage. So I would love to get guys in here that have at least 2 years of eligibility just to watch that jump.
I just feel like if they have a good year, they're going to go anyway, so I'm less worried about that.
Wong stuck around.
He did. He was a freshman when we recruited him too, though. So it's kind of different path.
Yeah. Miller stuck around for his second year here.
Yeah, I don't know that he would have. He only really I mean, he was good 2 years ago, but he was like the fourth or fifth option on that team versus the.
Jeff's mentioning something we decided we said we would discuss again. Yes, Jeff, if you watched our show from last week, we discussed a lot of women's hoops because
can we do the editor here a favor and finish the men's discussion, and so I'm not cutting it.
What else is there? But what else
cutting
is there?
it in 5 different places, because I want to go back a little bit to Jeff's question that I feel like you half answered and then didn't give you a chance to answer. So I'm not going to actually. I just want to ask you this question. So you said people are panicking for no reason, which I tend to agree with.
Because I've had a bunch of people have asked me about it.
Yeah, and just we need to be patient. At what point do you start getting nervous that like, hey, because we don't really have a fully functional team right now. So, like, at what point?
I get nervous if we're a week before it's time to enroll and we don't have anybody.
Wow, you're gonna take it all the way to August, huh?
I'm not concerned at all. Why would anybody be worried with Coach L's track record? Okay, 1, we just made the Final Four. 2, look what he's done in the portal in the past. He's brought in Jordan Miller. He's brought in Pack. He's brought in Norchad. He brought in Charlie Moore. He brought in Cam McGusty. Like, look at all these players we've brought in the past few years that have been immediate impact players on our team that led us to an Elite Eight, that led us to a Final Four. Why are we worrying? It's May 1st.
Well, because I'll answer that question for you. Although I agree it's too early to panic. I mean, we do have expectations. I mean, we're half joking, half serious about going to Phoenix next year, right? And I think...
I'm 100% serious. I think we make a run next year.
Right. Assuming that... So, okay. So this is... I'm going to tell you why you should be a little nervous. Okay, so...
Don't find me super cocky. I just have a lot of faith in Coach L.
I agree.
After doing an Elite Eight run and a Final Four run, I don't think there's any reason why we should doubt that this team could make another run yet next year. Do we make the Final Four? Maybe, maybe not. But I don't see why I can't say like, I think we can make a run. I mean, sometimes you just run into a bad matchup. That's what happened to the women's team the last few years. They just they had all this potential and then they got knocked out in the second round because they hit South Carolina. I think Jeff says asking, not panicking. If you weren't slightly panicking, you wouldn't be asking.
I'm gonna defend Jeff over here because because I think you helped answer why I'm kind of probing this a little bit, is the bar of player, like the bar you have to clear to get players added to this team to make a legitimate. Again, you're right, totally right. If you run to a bad matchup, you could be the best team in the country and lose, which we've been before. So I mean that can happen. But
look into the Boston Bruins.
Well, I mean, screw them. But the bar of player you have to get to really maintain that, because again, you're replacing Miller, you're replacing Wong, so there's a high.
But what's that bar? I mean, Nigel Pack was a big recruit.
That's ACC. Okay, but
no, but we replaced Wardenberg, and no offense to Wardenberg, we replaced Wardenberg with Norchad O'Meara, who came out of Arkansas State. You hadn't even heard of him until he commited to the program. Look what he did for us this year.
I agree. This is not Wardenberg. This is the ACC Player of the Year.
Okay.
So now again, so that's who we're trying to replace. And Jordan Miller.
We just have this discussion how we think Wooga has the highest ceiling out of any of these players.
As an NBA player, yes, but that's not what we're talking about. So again, we're talking about not having a drop off. There's a pretty high bar, right? There's a pretty high bar of players you have to bring in. So I can understand some people questioning, like, are we going to actually be able to maintain this? Are we going to take a little bit of a step back? I understand that. But I don't think I don't think the way you dismissed the question as like, what are you, crazy? I'm
not worried about it.
I know you're not. You made it very clear you're not worried about it.
Coach L knows what this team needs. The last few seasons, he's brought in players that have been immediate impact players.
No,
and they're players that most people have never even heard of. So why would we doubt now that he can't bring in those types of players again?
I'm not doubting. I'm sort of playing devil's advocate to sort of explaining why
what are you trying to get me to admit, though?
Nothing.
Okay, I was just like...
No, I understand your point of view. I'm just trying to explain like why people are... It's not all because they're like freaked out and like the sky is falling. It's that we want to go win the championship, and that's a very high standard. Like the standards are through the roof now. Like if we go lose the Sweet 16, we're going to be pissed.
Well, y'all have to also remember this is the first time where we could be like, hey, we want to make it back to the Final Four.
Right, so our standards are like through the roof. That's the difference.
We've been spoiled the last 2 seasons because we made the Elite Eight and then we made the Final Four. So now all of a sudden there's all these expectations that fans have for this team. Fans that maybe weren't around a few years ago when we didn't even get invited to the NIT. So it's okay. TSK something, whatever, says Jim VP.
I think he would help this team, but I don't think he has eligibility left. So.
Well, no, he's talking about Jim Larinaga.
I thought he was talking about Jimmy. That's the Jimmy Butler thing, though, right? That's what they're.
I know, but Larinaga is also Jim. Ship or bust.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like our standards, as they should be, are higher now. Like this is not.
I've said it on other pods prior to this one existing that I think Miami will make another decent run next year. I think we will be top 3, top 4 in the ACC again next year. I think Duke will be the team to beat. Yeah, and I know people are going to hate on me for saying that, but they're returning a lot of their impact players.
Go get that 7'5" dude and tell him to go punch Filipowski in the face. Like, what are we doing here?
And Tyrese Proctor are both staying. So I think they're going to be the team to beat next year. But again, remember, we're returning a big core. I know we don't have Miller and we don't have Wong. And yes, those are big names we have to replace. But you got to look at what we've done in 2 seasons with the development of Wong over his 4 seasons at Miami, the development of Miller from 1 season to the next, the development of Wooga from his freshman to his sophomore year, and Bensley Joseph. To think that those 2 aren't going to take a step, to think that Nigel Pack and Norchad Omier aren't going to take another step. Like, that's a great core to build around. Then you got to remember, we got 2 freshmen who are very, very good in Robinson and Watson, who have been practicing against these guys and felt what it was like to be in the Final Four. And they're going to want a piece of that and actually get to play in it. We have a beast coming in Nwoko, who I think is going to get a lot more time than people think. And Keyshawn, I keep on saying Keyshawn because of how it's spelled. Keyshawn George, I think, is going to make an impact too. We're going to bring in the right guys. Trust me. Players that are considering Miami and Miami has mutual interest in, I think we have a good shot at getting a lot of these players because like Kubache is, I don't know if you say that correctly. The track record is there over the last few years. And Miami sells itself. So I expect us to make a run next year. Larinaga knows what he's doing. He knows how to work the transfer portal. And now we have reasons and proof of what playing in his system can do. The development of Miller, Wong becoming the ACC Player of the Year, making the Elite Eight, then making the Final Four. Why anybody has any doubt that we can't make a run next year, I don't know what you're smoking.
I don't think it's necessarily, well, it's Miami. They're probably smoking a lot of stuff, but I don't know if there's necessarily doubt. It's that after getting a taste, you kind of want it immediate. Like, fair or not, like there's an immediacy around this because, in reality, if you take a little step back and build again for 2 years, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But I think people are afraid of that. Frankly, part of it's because football sucks, and this is what they've got. There's all sorts of stuff going on here that I think people want to be back at that stage again next year.
Yeah, I admit losing Miller and Wong is a big loss.
Right, and I think that's where the concern is. And I think you're.
I understand the concern, but you also have to see what the other core pieces that we have around in the program already that are going to take a step and what else.
I think that's your strongest. I think that's your strongest argument that you've made so far.
Yeah, so people just need to look at that and not overreact and being like, "Oh, there's no way we make make the a run in the tournament next year because we just lost our 2 best players. That's not how it works. That's what college basketball is. The great teams lose these players after a year or two, and they rebuild because the track record is there. The proof is there that you can develop and move on and do all of these great things. Larinaga is showing that he can do that over the last 2 years. So there's going to be players that want to come here. There's over 1,300 players in the portal. We're going to get people.
Yeah, no, I don't think people are worried about. I hope they're not worried about filling the roster out. We are going to fill the team next year. I think it's more just the caliber of players.
Andres, this is the basketball show, not the football.
No, but that's cool. Stick around 8:30. We got football coming.
Stick around in about a little under an hour. There will be football. Jordan Miller has been our most consistent player, no doubt. Wait till you see what Wooga does next year.
I mean, last seen getting benched, but anyway, no, but I totally agree. I think so. If you want to put together the Canes Final Four case for next year, it is Norchad, Nigel, Wooga, Bensley, Watson, and man, George. I'm forgetting George. I mean, he's a little bit more unknown. Nwoko's a little bit more Robinson. I was forgetting Jakai's last name, spaced on it. All of them improving, so you have better versions of them, and then Casey you add, Casey as well, and then Casey you add
another off season to gain some meat on his bones will be very good for him.
I think he also needs to improve.
He needs to hit the weight room with Norchad.
Yeah, and
because he's an athletic guy.
Yeah.
He just needs to.
He also needs to. I mean, there's all. I think this offseason will be important for him too, film study wise. His defensive positioning was just not there. And I think he'll get better. He's going to get better. That's what I'm agreeing.
You know what
I
look at him. You know what?
Man, I can't even agree with you with that.
You know what I see when I look at him? I see Tony Jakiri his freshman year.
I mean, it took him 4 years to.
Awkward looking guy that was just tall.
But I feel Casey's less awkward. I just don't think he knew how to play.
I know, I do too. He's less awkward too. But I think a summer in the off-season program and having gotten some experience this past year and getting some play time, I think will be good for him.
Yeah, and then also
have a monster year. He's an elite athlete. Yes, he is. He just needs to stop making some of those freshman mistakes that he made as a sophomore.
Yeah, and again, I think the Final Four moment got a bit big for him.
Yeah, I think I got a little bit for a lot of the players because that's probably the worst game we've ever played that season. Besides maybe when we played Maryland.
Yeah, no, it's not his best performance. So how he bounces back from that too. Well, mentally he was a starter that got benched. That's not easy to deal with because he wanted to be out there.
No, of course, but
yeah, it's tough.
Listen, that's just more fuel to the fire.
Yeah,
we have a lot of players. We have 3 starters and our 6th man from a Final Four team returning this next season. Let's remember that we have 3 starters and our 6th man returning from a Final Four team next season.
Yeah,
so
and
need to remember that.
Yeah, and again, I think the additions will. Round the roster out, hopefully.
And the additions we've got recruiting-wise with Nwoko and George, I think, are great additions. And then the 2 freshmen that we had on the bench, I think Watson's going to be a star.
I would actually be okay with him starting if we don't get another shooting guard.
Yeah, we didn't get to see a lot of him, but seeing some of his tape from previous and stuff. Like if it's not next year, then his junior year, I think he's going to be one of our top go-to people. It's Kubiche. Kubiche?
I think it's a cha, right? Kubiche.
Kubiche? Maybe? We can't put accent marks. I think we're good at development. We'll be fine. I just see the success the women are having on recruiting and hope Coach L can get that type of momentum too.
Before we talk women, I do have one more question. So, and then we will definitely talk about the women. Yeah, I agree. Like even Coach, I was like, I wish we could have played our best game. It was just
it was. I think that the lights and the Final Four atmosphere and playing in the massive football stadium, and I think it definitely threw them off for sure. But again, we're returning multiple players that have now played in that environment, and if we were to get back to that environment next year, I think you see this veteran-led team step up and be like, hey, look, we've been here before. Let us show you, and there you go.
Yeah. Okay. So last kind of question on the men, or this time it's an X-Man.
Before that, and I also will say, because I know we returned players from the previous season to this season into the Final Four run when we made the Elite Eight, but Wooga and Bensley didn't get a ton of playing time. And the only other people were Jordan and Isaiah that played significant minutes. So the team was more pieced together.
I think it's a little bit different though, in that like that we did lose 3 starters off the Elite Eight team because we lost, but because we lost Charlie Moore and McGusty and Wardenberg, but that team also wasn't. I mean, they weren't that good.
Yeah, they were a 10 seed.
Yeah, and
I will forever appreciate them because I won $100 off my mom's boyfriend.
Oh no, what I mean by, you talked earlier about matchups, they hit matchups that really worked out and were by the end of the year playing at a high level. They were certainly playing a lot better than the 10 seed because a lot of that 10 seed came out of the beginning of the year.
We were just lucky that we were, for the most part, healthy going into the tournament because we pretty much played our starting lineup for a good 90%.
Yeah, no, we had no bench.
We had no bench.
Right.
So
right, and that team was very they struggled the first half of the year, so they were playing a lot better than a 10 seed before getting to the tournament. So sucked for the teams that ran into us too, because we were probably playing like a 4 or 5 seed by the time we got to the tournament.
And remember, we had the lead against Kansas at half.
I know, I was there. But the I was
that's before me and Vish knew. Yeah. I was at work watching
that.
Next year, I'm gonna make sure I have that weekend off.
That was still
just in case.
That was still one where I was like, I went there to watch us lose. Like I didn't for a second think that we were gonna win that, and then we were up at halftime. I was like, we're actually gonna win, and then just the bottom fell out, and I was like, oh well. You guys think the NIL is?
Do we think the NIL money is still there? Yes.
You mean for Miami? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do. So
John Ruiz is not the only booster or person that gives NIL deals at Miami. He's just very vocal about it.
Yeah, no, there's money. The money's not an issue. The money's not an issue.
No. But also, mad props to John Ruiz because his Twitter game is on point.
Is it? I feel like it's your Twitter game. It's the same one, just yelling at everyone.
No, but John Ruiz is way smarter than me, and when he claps back at people, it's a well-educated, well-formed response, or eyes just go off.
I don't know about this smarter than you business. I'll leave that alone. I don't agree. But
should we talk women's?
Well, I want to ask you one more question about the men's that you've not allowed me to get out of my mouth the last 15 minutes. But how shocked were you that Anthony Walker ended up at Indiana?
Oh, listen. First of all, good for him.
Yeah, no, props to him.
Props to him. Indiana's a great program. That's Miami North University. John is a Twitter pit bull. We all know Indiana. Miami North University. Props to him. I don't know how many players Indiana's losing as far as transfers and graduation and that stuff. Is he a starter at Indiana?
I honestly don't know. I just find the whole thing bizarre. He is such a square peg in round hole.
I don't know. Sorry, my phone keeps vibrating next to me. I don't know enough about Indiana's team to know who they're losing and who's graduating and all these things to know how much play time he's going to get. But I will say, I will watch some Indiana games next year to see how many 3-point shots he takes.
I mean... Oh, wow. You had to take one last dig at our boy there, man.
The obligatory Anthony Walker 3. No, listen. I love Anthony Walker. Good for him.
I will say,
I didn't see that. I didn't see that coming, honestly.
I didn't see it coming at all. But obviously, we played Indiana, and it was pretty obvious how much more athletic we were than them. So maybe because the one thing about Anthony Walker is he's really athletic. So maybe they're just looking to bring that to bear. But I was genuinely shocked. It feels like such a square peg into a round hole in terms of just the way he plays versus that he doesn't fit that team. And maybe that's what they're looking for.
So transfer-wise, Beverly's gone to Wichita State.
Yeah.
Walker's gone to Indiana, and Danilo, I can never pronounce his last name.
Jovanovic.
Danilo, yeah, he is going to Louisville.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah.
Yeah. No, it is. He committed.
Oh, it's official? And then who else was there? There was... Favor.
Favor.
I haven't seen anything with him.
But Louisville lost a few people.
Yeah, they lost some players. Yep.
So I think Danilo's a great athlete. I was sad to lose him. I think he just left because he probably wasn't going to get a lot of time next season, and I'm thinking he just wanted to start playing earlier. But I think he'll have a good shot to get some good play time at Louisville because when they were horrible and they lost some. I mean,
he's going to walk in.
End up going?
Arkansas.
Arkansas, yeah. So I think he'll be a playmaker for them, and I think he gets a good opportunity there.
Yeah, he's going to walk into their starting lineup. I feel they stink.
So he'll get a lot of play time there. So good for him. And I think Beverly will get a lot of time at Wichita State.
I'm assuming that's why he went there because he probably still would have had a backup role here with some minutes. But
yeah, I think he wants the minutes and to start and Wichita State's a great mid-major. So
Jeff, I don't know if you know the answer to this. I don't for hoops. I know football past history.
I read at some point. I believe the transfer portal is open as far as entering it up until 60 days after your team's season ends.
So for us, that would be April 1st. Exactly. It was exactly April 1st. So we got another month.
I looked it up. I believe it was 60 days from the time the season ends. So we're not losing anybody else, I don't think.
I'd be really surprised if we...
I would be very surprised. But then, I mean, the portal doesn't close as far as people committing. Like, you can commit up until the enrollment deadline for fall. Louisville also brought in a ton of talent from the portal and got a 5-star to commit to them. Yeah, but it depends. Freshmen, not necessarily. Maybe, I don't know, but he'll get a chance.
Yeah,
Danilo will
a better chance than because he was behind. He was definitely behind Watson and maybe others. I don't know how much playing time he's going to get this year. It's probably a couple of years away. So he decided to opt for a crappier program than he might be able to play at. So that's where he went. We're just keeping it real there.
A program with history, but they were.
They're terrible.
How many wins did they have? 3, 4?
Something like it was bad. It was bad, and their best player just walked away. So.
Can you blame him? I was hoping we'd get him.
Yeah, I mean that was still when we still.
We're lucky we got a W when they came to play at the Wasco Center because L. Ellis went off.
Yeah, that was one of those. We had several of those weird games where we kind of just were like half-assing it and won anyway because like
the FSU game when we lost that. Honestly, that was our wake-up game. That game was like you guys can't just like half-ass it.
We almost lost the ACC on the last shot of the game.
Oh, against Pitt.
Because we turned it off with like 2 minutes left, and then
we were up like 8 or 10 or something, and then just shit a lead away.
Yeah, and then I still, we almost lost the ACC because they didn't review that they shot a 2-pointer and they gave them 3 points for it, and
yep.
That would have been like an all-time scandal.
There were some questionable.
I mean, but that's just an easy thing to review, and the ridiculous thing is, like the commentators usually stay neutral. They were losing their minds too because they go over to the monitor. And they're checking the clock. They didn't bother to check his foot. And they're like, yeah, this is going to become a 2. And then as we're like inbounding the ball, they're like, wait, they didn't change it. What's going on?
Yeah.
And then we ended up winning by 2 when they missed a 3 at the buzzer. And if it had gone in, we would have lost the ACC because of that.
It was FSU flashbacks.
Yeah.
Except this time they missed.
But I mean, that whole thing is crazy that they didn't bother to review a foot on the line.
Crazy.
Anyway, women's.
Let's talk about women's.
Actually, let's talk about Prize Picks.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hi, Coop.
Hey, Coop. Is Coop in the chat, or are you just shouting Coop out?
That's my shout out to Coop. What's up, Coop?
All right.
The OG. Before you have to remind me, and then it makes me look bad.
I did that one time, and it was like an hour 3 of the show, so we're not going to go that long today.
We've never had a 3-hour show. So
no,
second hour.
We've had a 2-hour show where we then stopped recording and talked for another hour afterwards. So
there you go.
I consider that a 3-hour.
So Prize Picks.
Yeah, prizepicks.com. Enter the offer code FIVE. Prize Picks is simple. You go on to their website. You bet over unders on individual player stat lines. If you hit all of them, you get paid off. You pick 2 to 5 players, and if you enter the offer code FIVE, that's 5 but spelled out, we'll match up to $100 of your first deposit. So go to prizepicks.com, sign up, enter the offer code FIVE. That is 5, and yeah, have fun, enjoy, bet. You can bet on the Heat players. You can bet on Formula One this year too. So if you're a fan of hitting the egg packs, I know
last week's Formula One show had a very Buckets-esque
that
vibe to it. You guys went on a few tangents there.
I mean, we've been trending that direction, so it's not a serious F1 analysis show.
Well, then someone told you guys that you guys don't know racing, right?
I mean, I should have pulled my F1 like actual official FIA credential out and waved it in front of the screen or something, because I still don't know why they credentialed me for that, but like I'm bona fide in that. Actually, technically, according to the FIA, I know what I'm doing. This came from Paris.
There you go.
But actually, no, we're not that type of show. Jazz was absolutely right. Anyway,
so women's hoops.
Yes.
Not much has happened since the last show. But I mean, a lot happened in that last show. So, I mean, since the end of the season, we've lost like 7 players or 6 players. How many players have we lost?
7.
7, including Destiny Harden, the Cavender twins, Lola Pendande, and more. But we have
Kenza Salguez.
There's a lot.
Luan City Baba. I think that was all 7. Right?
The women's team is even more international than the men's team.
Well, they're all Canadian now, so.
Yeah, right. But we talked about it last week on the show. We brought in 4 transfers. And the week before that, we had been talking about how we lost all of our shooting and all of our guards. And Katie Meyer needs to hit the portal and get some experience. And then the next week, it's like, here's 4 guards that can all shoot. And they're all coming to Miami. So I think kind of like, not that we're not excited about all of them, but last week when this specific person committed, Vish texted me in like a fit of excitement because Cheyenne Day-Wilson committed to us. Go ahead, Vish.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, one of the things that we do during the season, which we're going to get a flavor of this year now, Melissa on the show too, is we do kind of look at opponents. We do a lot of like previewing of ACC teams to kind of, those are our opponents. So Cheyenne Day-Wilson is definitely like first name you talk about at Duke. She's the one, you got to stop her. She's the key to their team. She's now the key to our team. So that's just like, that's a complete role reversal for us. Like we spent the last 2 years, like, how do you stop this player every time to play them? How do you get the ball out of her hand? And now it's other teams' problem because she's on the Hurricane. So yeah, she's kind of she's technically, I think, a point guard, but she kind of plays both guard positions.
She's like immediate impact, like first or second option.
Yeah, I think she's first option probably.
Yeah,
the ball will be in her hands. Well, I mean, the ball's going to run through her. Obviously, I think Jasmine is the star.
That's why I said first or second option.
Yeah,
because I think Jasmine's also. I think the 2 of them on the court together is going to be really fun.
Well, let's talk about this a little, because we touched on this with either last week or the week before. But so now you got all these guards. Yeah, what exactly are?
So we brought in Day-Wilson. We brought in Jada Patrick, who's going to be a 5th-year senior from Columbia. We brought in Lamaya Hilton, who will be a sophomore from Arizona, and we brought in
Ali Stedman.
Pepperdine. Thank you, Ali Stedman. I was like blanked on her name. Who will be a junior from Pepperdine, who I think could probably play the 3 behind Jasmine. But I think the big question is who's going to be our 2 starting guards. Like, I think Day-Wilson is obviously a starter.
I think she's definitely starting.
But who takes the second spot? Because you could argue that Jada Patrick, who was like a starter at Columbia, would be a great option to play, a second guard. But we also have Jalea, who could have been starting for most of the year.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and you can't really. I mean, you can't really see all three of them playing together and like pushing Jasmine to the 4. She's too small for that, so it's kind of like one of them's got to sit. Which one are you sitting?
And Jeff, to answer your question, I don't think we have any freshman recruits.
We don't have any. We have one committed for 2024, and Coach Meyer is still working on it.
Possibly a second, because Coach Meyer was having a dinner with one last week.
With one after our show.
Yeah.
So we don't, as far as we can tell, and actually we could have asked her what the hell happened. We don't have any freshmen this year, but I don't think we have a freshman class coming in. But yeah, it's all portal, and I don't know that we're necessarily done in the portal. Yeah, there's probably still some.
But remember, Hilton was a freshman at Arizona and played sparingly. So she's young. She's got multiple years of eligibility left. I think Jade is the only one coming in. It's her last year. So we are bringing in people that have multiple years left, and we got a bunch of players who made significant impact that will still be there next season, especially our bigs. I know Vish is excited about.
Yeah, I think it's more of an improvement on
the bigs.
Yeah, I think it's more just like improving across the board there, because they're both freshmen. And actually, it wasn't just me that was excited about it. It was Coach Meyer.
Well, about our bigs?
Yes.
Yeah,
he was kind of salivating over it a bit.
If you didn't follow women's hoops the entire season, we had the injury bug when it came to our bigs. So assuming they stay healthy and they can make that like jump from one year to the next, Coach Meyer basically insinuated that we'll make another run with the talent we coming in through the transfer portal, and then the leap that Jasmine Roberts took. And if people stay healthy, I think our team won't be as underrated as they were this past season. I don't think we're going to catch people by surprise next year if our team stays healthy.
Some parallels there, like with a 9 seed that made a run to the Elite 8, but the team should be, even though we lost some of our best players and there's holes.
No, we definitely lost some of our best players.
And then you look at what's coming in, you're kind of like, I think the team might be better, even though.
You can't replace the leadership that is Destiny Harden.
Right, but if you think, like, again, just kind of playing it back, like the parallel there, coming off the court against Kansas, nothing had happened yet, right? Other to fill that team, but you're thinking McGusty, Moore, and Wordberry we're not going to be back here next year. It's going to take some time to reset, and we were a better team from start to finish.
Yeah.
And not because those guys weren't key. I mean, McGusty had been the leader of that team for several years. It's just it was just, the way that the roster filled out was more cohesive, and then other players improved. And I think that's what we're looking for here, right? We're looking for Jasmine to get better, and she's already really good. But we're looking for her to kind of take that next step. We're definitely looking for Lazaria and Kyla to take that next step.
And you hear it all the time too. The key to a long tournament run is good guard play, and we just brought in a bunch of good, if not great, guard play. And we already have the depth down low, too, assuming they stay healthy.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing that we did not have when you talk about what could potentially be better. Like, Lola struggled this year. She busted her face in the middle of the year. I don't think she ever got back to what she was 2 years ago. But also, there was no depth behind that other than putting freshmen out there that were not really ready yet. Yeah. And so, wow, you just slammed that Chick-fil-A down, huh?
It's just ice. It's just ice. I like eating the ice, but nobody wants to hear me crunching on ice. So
anyway, so I think, what we didn't have this year was a consistent player we could run the ball in through the post through. And I think we might have a couple of players we can do that next year. It's going to make, because the one thing that happened to this team multiple times this year and happened again against LSU is just the offense could just get stuck.
Yep.
And I think, the ability to play through the post is is going to change that a little bit, so we're not just guard dependent. I see
Jeff
it. I see it. I see you smoking. I saw you smirking. I saw the comment. I saw you smirking. I'm like, do you want me to touch that? I guess so.
Who will be the best wrestler among the Cavender twins?
It's got to be Hannah, right? Hannah's a psycho.
In
a good way. In a good way. In a good way. She's intense.
I mean, why can't they both be good?
Who said he said best? It's a comparative.
I
You'd
know.
say who's going to be good and who's going to be bad.
I don't know. I mean, Haley was the better basketball player apparently, so maybe Hannah's got her on wrestling.
Hannah's more. I use the word insane, but not really insane. Very much more intense. She is much more locked in. I feel.
Luckily,
like
they'll probably never watch this, so they won't hate. She won't hate you for saying that.
I mean, I think I'm complimenting her in terms of her focus and her drive.
She's insane and crazy in a good way.
Yes, in a good way. Totally not joking. In a good way. I think she'll log in a lot more. She'll commit to the bit better.
Okay. There you go.
So I'll go Hannah on that one.
I'll go Haley just because you said Hannah.
Oh, so now you're dissing Hannah. Look at this. Who's she going to actually be?
Well, I figured they should each get one vote. So
but now if we ever get them on, who's she going to be mad at? The one that called her crazy in a good way, or the one that picked the sister?
Well, at this point, one of them will be mad at each of us.
And we'll be able to tell the difference.
Exactly.
Dodo. Oh, yeah. So.
Here, I'll ask you a question.
Sure.
With the way both squads are right now, so don't assume that Coach L is going to bring in more people. Which squad do you think makes a longer run into the tournament next season?
The women. The way that's currently constructed, it's not even really close. I mean, so you're saying assuming there's no one coming in.
Yeah.
I mean,
so assume Coach L does his thing and brings in players that we need. Who makes a longer run into the tournament?
I mean, we're going to figure out how to get from Phoenix to Cleveland. That's what we're going to be doing.
Oh, so we'll go. Well, I mean, given LSU's state of championship upgrades.
You know what? We'll D them up again, except this time we'll score.
Yeah, shoot, man. Angel Reese and Haley Van Lith on the same team. That's crazy. But yeah, I'm going to have to start saving some money to make all of these flights from Phoenix to Cleveland and back again.
Multiple flights. Like, it's because we start in Cleveland and then it's to Phoenix and it's back to Cleveland and that's back to Phoenix.
It's a lot of flying. I'll definitely come back with cooties again next year.
I still don't know what exactly you got because it wasn't COVID. So
no, it wasn't COVID.
I know.
Just, I don't know.
Because I was fine.
It's just a nasty virus.
And Matt didn't get sick either. It was just you.
None of my friends did. Just me. I got it.
What was going on at your hotel then?
It had to have been from my hotel or
right.
From,
it must have been. Maybe it was during the fire alarm.
I got it from one of my cousin's kids because I met up with my cousin.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
And he has like 5 kids. Or when I was sitting at the hotel, the Houston bar for like 5 hours watching the women's game and talking to people or whatever. I was sitting next to a bunch of UM college students on the flight back.
That might have done
They had flown up for the game, so who knows? But
that might have actually done
something. It ruined my birthday though because I spent my birthday at home sick, so that kind of sucked. But it was worth it because it was the Final Four.
Yeah, that might have
done Final Four merch everywhere.
I would put money on the UM college students who are sitting next to you causing this. That feels like a petri dish situation. So
yeah, well, planes in general are flying petri dishes.
Yeah, I still keep a mask with me just in case I make a call. I make a business decision on the flight. If I sit next to someone, I'm like, yeah, no.
You know, I wore a mask on the flight going out there because I was like afraid I would like be sick and not feel good at the game, and I wanted to make sure I made it through the weekend. But the Canes almost did me a solid by losing because I started getting sick Monday, like the day after, and like I would have like been at the game, like the finals, feeling crap and having to fly home.
I don't think you would have felt like crap because you would have had so much adrenaline that I don't think it would have.
Yeah, but imagine, have you ever been on a flight where you're like super stuffy and your ears are clogged? That hurts. Like with the air pressure and stuff. That Tuesday flight would have been hell. So they kind of did me a solid there.
I don't know. I feel like the high you
another Game 7, Rangers versus Devils, winner take. Man, hockey's been fun to watch this postseason.
Yeah, I don't really follow hockey. That does not. My people don't do ice. So
South Florida sports has been on fire this last couple of months, man. So anything there's not a lot of new news to talk about with the women's team.
Well, I do think there's got to be something that, like, because how many players do we actually have on the team? I feel like there's still more. There's got to be something else coming in, right?
Well, we lost 7 and we have 4 coming in, so maybe.
Right, but how many players do we even have on the team right now?
Look up the roster, bro. You have 20 screens there.
Wow, please, it's just bossing me. Look, you let you do the intro, and then the next thing you know,
let me. I'm a co-host. Remember, it's our show.
It is our show.
Here you go. Plus, I think I was better at doing the intro than you.
Wow, look at this. Just taking shots.
I did design the new logo that we're going to be coming out with.
Well, we haven't seen it yet, so.
I came up with the idea for the logo.
Yeah, so there is 4 coming in, which we knew. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 existing players. So that's only 10 players. You feel like there's got to be more, right?
Yeah.
So we might still see some other additions coming in. Yeah.
I think we need some more like 3s or 4s. I think we're set at the guard position.
I think it's just maybe another big, because we do have 3 kind of players that can play the post. So
yeah, but why not a stretch 4? I love a good stretch 4.
Always doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the question is. Your answer is stretch 4.
I don't care where I am or where you are. If we get a transfer that's a stretch 4, we are going live from wherever we are. My phone is getting lit up.
Stretch 4. It's always a stretch 4 with you.
My friend's messaging me because I'm going on vacation this weekend.
Yeah, Orlando, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
he probably thinks I'm at work because I told everybody I was working today.
Yeah, you told me you were working too, and we had plans for tomorrow.
And then I texted you in a panic when I realized that I'm supposed to work tomorrow and not today. I was like, Vish.
It all worked out.
It's good.
Yeah, I mean,
we had to do the pod a little bit later, which means we can't talk for 2 hours about nothing.
Yeah, it's true. We got 10 minutes to the next show.
Because the football pod. Let's see how long we can go before Jazz gets on here and is like, "Hey, where are you?"
I don't know. We'll see if he does that.
He probably does he know that we're doing a pod?
Yeah, I mean, it's all I pushed it out on Twitter, so I don't see how he wouldn't.
Okay. Is there more?
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Oh, Jeff wants to know who the best recruiter among the assistant coaches to Coach L. Caputo was. Oh, I don't even know. Honestly, for me, I feel in order for us to be constantly in the top 10 every year, we need to start recruiting high school a lot harder than we have been doing in the past few years. I mean, yes, it would be good to bring high school players in. And if we continue to maintain these nice runs and finishing at the top of the ACC and making runs into the tournament, Elite 8, Final Fours, then I think you see that high school recruiting go up. But Coach has also shown what he can do out of the transfer portal too. And you got to remember, basketball is so much different than football recruiting because you only have so many scholarships on your team, whereas football, you have like 60 players. So you're only going to bring in maybe 2 or 3 maybe high school players. And then if you want immediate impact, especially when you're replacing players like Isaiah Wong and Jordan Miller, you kind of need to go to the portal. It's very different than football where you have all this depth that you've been bringing up over a year or 2, and then you can start them. It's a lot different.
Yeah, I'd also say that I don't necessarily agree that we haven't been recruiting the high school ranks hard. A bunch of them transferred.
We're bringing in 2 freshmen.
But then last year, I mean, we had what?
Oh yeah, 2 of them transferred.
We had Watson, we had Air, and
we had 4. We had 4 freshmen.
Jovanovic. Yeah, I mean, they just left.
Yeah, Air and Danilo left, and then Robinson and Watson are still here. So, and we've got 2 freshmen.
Well, I'm
doing air quotes because
Casey.
I keep Got it. Not Keyshawn. Oh yeah, and Casey too. So we had 5.
Yeah, so
5
I think Jakai is in year 3 now because he
is he?
He redshirt. Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. He came in with Bensley and Wooga, who are still here and now key players. So
yeah,
we're doing both.
We have 2 freshmen coming in next year, Anthony.
Yes, Kaishan and
I gotta get that out of my head.
Is that actually? Did we ever confirm that it is Keyshawn?
I don't know, but like in my mind, I keep saying Kaishan. It could be pronounced that way. He's from Switzerland. It could be pronounced different. I don't know. Can you look up the pronunciation?
You can see.
But Keyshawn, I'm just gonna call him George. But George isn't your typical freshman because he's been playing pro ball overseas. So.
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't know. Was that just like a misspelling, or is that the? I don't know. I looked for it. There's nothing really coming up on how to pronounce it. Yeah, I don't know if that's just like a misspelling or how to pronounce Kaishan.
Eliminating the one and done.
Kaishan. Okay, did you hear that?
So do it again.
Oh, it's coming out of my other speaker, but let's see if we can hear this.
Kaishan.
It sounds like Kaishan.
It's definitely pronounced like Kaishan. No, I have no idea how to pronounce.com, how accurate it is. But,
yeah.
But I think you're safe.
Anthony's asking about the one and done thing and
Wait, what is he asking?
Well, I read something like the NCAA, like the NBA isn't gonna include like playing overseas a year to be eligible for the NBA. Like they're doing some new rule changes.
Yeah, they're trying to prevent high school players from going overseas and having that count as their one and done. That's the only change that's made. So
yeah,
Anthony, keep in mind that the one and done rule is an NBA rule. It is not a college rule. So it's when you're eligible to be drafted.
Going to the NBA, yeah.
So it's all done out of the. So it'd be an NBA change, not an NCAA change. The NCAA can't do anything.
Oh, and if you're coming on late to the show, I'm not wearing a hoodie, but it's because I wanted to wear a Buckets t-shirt because the show was named Bucket. So
I think you've only worn a hoodie once on this show, so I don't.
No, multiple times. I wore the green and orange striped one. I wore that new black one the week before that I had gotten. When I was a guest, I think I was wearing the multicolored Sebastian hoodie, and then I just wore that long sleeve once.
How do you even remember it? Anyway.
Because I
You're putting a lot of thought into this. You're putting a lot.
I haven't repeated a hoodie yet on the show. I mean, I eventually will repeat because I only have so many. But
you don't have a lot of Miami hoodies. That's
you're welcome, Anthony. The one and done isn't a college rule. It's the NBA because like they used to have it where you could just go into the NBA draft from high school because like Kobe did it, LeBron did it. If you're a Heat fan, Darrell Wright did it.
That's a hell of a
back in the day. But well, I'm a Heat fan, so I know the names. But now you have to have a year of college. So, but that's why I feel like a lot of these teams, like Kentucky and stuff, why they haven't won a championship because they bring in all these 5-stars that are one and done. The more time I feel like a lot of the older teams have more of an advantage because the more time you spend in a program, the more cohesive it is, and you make better runs. Like, how do you think? Like, I think FAU got as far as they did because they've all been there a few years together. And that's why you see some of these. I think so. Yeah. They're all going to be back next season, so they might be better.
I'm not really worried.
I don't know, but it's one of those things where you see like some of these teams that you've never seen make the Final Four before, all of a sudden are. I just think sometimes the veteran leadership and the transfer portal makes a huge difference too. I mean, we don't get that far if we don't have Pac and Norchad. Anthony's a hardcore Heat fan, but doesn't remember Darrell Wright. I give you props there for even remembering his name. FAU does have a great coach. And I think they just extended him for 10 years, no?
Yeah, he's not going to be there 10 years.
Hey, listen, you getting paid if however much to live in Boca? Boca's a nice area.
Yeah, you've done your religious based description of Boca before. We don't need to revisit.
Oh yeah, the rich Jews.
Oh my God! I just said we don't need to revisit this. All right, now I have to tell you again once we're to remind everyone that you are Jewish, so that we get some coverage here.
It's fine. No, anyone that lives in the South Florida area knows. That's like where all like the New Yorkers go to retire.
We're doing a show here that is public.
I have no shame.
I know. That's the problem. If I have to be like the straight serious one on this, that's a problem.
Do you think once Coach L leaves, the Hurricanes might look at bringing on an assistant coach from one of the blue blood programs like Kansas to replace them? I don't know.
I would expect, first of all, him not to go anywhere anytime soon, but probably an assistant from.
I was gonna say I would hope that it would just be somebody from within the program because they've all been with Coach L for so long. That I would love to just keep it in the family and have one of his main assistants kind of take over, kind of like what Shire did after Coach K.
Yeah, I expect something like that.
That's it. Is that Edward? Edward, is that you with the Go Tigers? That's got to be Edward.
I am not disputing your description. I'm disputing the public appropriateness of it.
Oh, well, it's 8:28. We might need to go so that you can start the football show, which I may or may not make an appearance on.
Yeah, you have the link. If I see you backstage, I'll let you in. I'll figure out which
all
one.
Four of you tonight? The legendary Larry Bluestein?
Yeah.
Jazz
it should be all four of us, yes.
All right. Caputo or Eric?
Yep.
And to end this, I wouldn't be surprised if Coach L is involved in that process. When he decides
I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, if it's something similar to Coach K, where they already know they're like it's basically announced before. This is going to be my last season. My replacement is this dude.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the way that works.
Yeah, but all right, Vish, go start.
Kind of like what we did with baseball. We did the same with baseball.
Yeah, go start the football show so Jazz doesn't get on here and yell at you. We kept this to an hour and a half. We're good. Biscayne Buckets, let's go. I hope you guys enjoyed another episode of Buckets. You may not see Matt for a little bit because he's getting married this weekend. So shout out to Matty Ice. Congrats.
Yes. Yeah, congratulations.
Don't cry. Keep it chill. Wear good socks. All right.
Wait, what?
Wear good socks.
Why does
the socks are the most underrated part of a fit. You got to have good socks, especially on your wedding day. Make sure you're wearing good socks.
You think that he even had any say in terms of what he's wearing? This is all picked out, I'm assuming, by the bride.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But congrats, Matt.
Matt.
And your bride to be. Hopefully we'll see you on the show in a couple weeks after your honeymoon. Until then, me and Vish will hold it down. Oh yes, and good luck, Vish, on your half marathon this weekend.
Oh God.
If it's just me doing the show next week, it's because Vish is dead.
Yeah, well, if none of our shows will air, all of a sudden it should be in memoriam.
Yeah, I don't even have access to start the show, so if there's no
one does but me on this. It'll be a guest producer with like just
there you go.
In memoriam. All right, I think I'm getting now pinged by
yeah, go. All
Jazz,
right. Good night, everybody.
All right.
Peace out. Till next time on the Buckets Pod.
The 6 Ring Kane Show. Yeah. The 6 Ring Kane Show. Yeah. The 6 Rings Kane Show. You know.